Welcome to Tech News Today. It's a podcast about keeping you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. We'll get started in a moment. First, we'd like to recognize our partners who help make these podcasts possible. It's Friday, November 2nd. I'm Mike James. Coming up in a bit, we'll tell you about a flaw in a popular security camera putting your privacy in jeopardy. Plus, the days of missing packages being delivered might be coming to an end, and why looking to the internet to find why you're not feeling well is probably not a very good idea. We start with a serious flaw discovered in security cameras. Web-connected cameras can be great for monitoring your home and keeping you safe, but what if they could be turned against you to invade your privacy? That's exactly what's happening right now with a popular camera. Consumer Reports recently published its findings about the state of security and privacy of 6 wireless home security cameras, and one model stood out with a glaring flaw. A popular model made by D-Link. It's the model DCS263OL. It can transmit unencrypted video feeds over the internet. This means it can potentially grant unauthorized people access to its footage. That's because unlike other cameras that store footage on a secure encrypted cloud server, this particular D-Link model stores footage locally on its own built-in web server, so the footage is local and available if the system ever gets hacked. One mistake people who own security cameras make is not realizing that it ships with default passwords, and that those passwords are the same for all the units. By not changing the passwords as soon as you install the device, you're leaving yourself open to be spied on. Most hackers know the default credentials to those devices and can easily access your security camera if you don't change the password as soon as possible. Another thing that keeps you secure is making sure the camera's firmware is always up to date. Whenever a manufacturer learns about a vulnerability, they will patch it with a firmware update. So if you want to know how to update your firmware, go to Komando.com and read our article titled, "This Wireless Security Camera Has a Serious Hijacking Flaw." That'll walk you through all the firmware updating procedures step by step and also give you more details about this particular vulnerability. Well, have you ever missed the delivery driver trying to drop off a package? Well, of course, we all have. There's nothing more frustrating than getting home and seeing that missed delivery note on the door. But those days might be coming to an end, at least if this robot manufacturer has anything to do with it. Starship Technologies has developed an army of robots designed to deliver packages. The service is starting up in the UK now and will be up and running in San Francisco by the end of the year. The company plans on expanding to the rest of the country soon. Not only would this eliminate the frustrations of missing a delivery, but it could help cut down on package theft as well, because you'll be able to schedule delivery whenever you know that you'll be home to receive it. The only downside appears to be the loss of delivery driver jobs, which is what people have feared about since the development of robots. And just ahead, if you're a regular rideshare passenger, there's a new way to save money. But right now, a quick word from our partners at Medi-Share. Saving money is important, but it's weird how some people go through great lengths to save a couple of bucks and then ignore the ways that we can save a lot of money. Well, if you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, you could actually save $500 a month. Believe it or not, that's the typical savings for a family. There's a reason Medi-Share is growing so fast. It's because it works. Will it save you $500 a month? Well, find out for yourself. Go to Medi-Share.com or call 855-25-SHARE. That's 855-25-SHARE. Medi-Share.com or 855-25-SHARE. What's the first thing you do when you feel like you're coming down with a cold or getting a sickness? Many people turn to the internet to do a little self-diagnosis before actually going to a doctor, but that might not be such a great idea. A study published a while back in the British Medical Journal found that online symptom checking sites listed the correct diagnosis first about only a third of the time. And that led to a follow-up study by a team of researchers, and what they found was, according to Dr. Carl Shen, who led the study, which was focused on eye health, their results were not real good. The correct diagnosis showed up first on WebMD only 25% of the time. The researchers compiled 42 eye health clinical vignettes based on medical literature, and basically that means they entered possible symptoms patients may have been dealing with their eyes, and most of the time the wrong diagnosis was given as a result. Out of the 42 searches, the correct diagnosis only topped the list of results 11 times. Now, WebMD has updated its algorithm since both of these studies were conducted, which will hopefully give more accurate results, but if you aren't feeling well, it's always best to see a doctor in person. How often do you use a rideshare service like Uber or Lyft? If you're riding with them regularly, you'll want to pay attention to this. One of the biggest complaints passengers have is the way pricing changes. Even when you're going to the same destination, you might pay $10 for a ride home from work one night and charge $15 for the same ride another night. That's usually a result of surge pricing, when there's an event or something else happening in the area where the drivers are in high demand. Uber is trying to help regular passengers cut down on expenses, so it's introducing a subscription service called Ride Pass. The company said it's a new way for riders to lock in consistent, low prices on any ride they take, anywhere in the city, any time of day. The fee starts at $14.99 per month and could be canceled at any time. Ride Pass is actually designed to guarantee discounted rides and protection from the dreaded surge pricing that everyone hates so much. So what would you be willing to pay per month for a rideshare service? It might be a tough sell, unless of course you truly are what they call a power rider, someone who takes an Uber many times a month. Right now, Uber's new service is available in 5 U.S. cities, but plans are to incorporate it everywhere soon. Lyft recently started a similar program called All Access Pass. It's a little different though. Lyft's All Access Pass is good for 30 rides per month for a set monthly fee, which is pretty steep. It's $299 per month, and each ride can cost up to $15. If it goes over, then you pay the difference. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a really great idea to me, but you never know. Are you ready for the upcoming midterm elections? Millions of people all across the country will be heading to the polls on Tuesday to vote, November 6th. You may have been following the major races in your area and already know which candidates you're going to vote for, but what about everything else on the ballot? Well, don't worry, Amazon's Alexa can now help you prepare. People asked Alexa millions of questions during the 2016 presidential election, so Amazon used those questions to help expand its election experience for midterms. Now, Alexa will offer information about voter registration deadlines, voting options including in-person and by mail, what times polls open and close, and more. Amazon also teamed up with Ballotopia, a nonprofit, nonpartisan digital encyclopedia, to offer ballot information. You can ask Alexa questions like, when are the polls open, or what does it mean to vote yes or no for state ballot measures? On Election Day, you can ask Alexa for updates to find out who is winning, and in the following days, you can ask her for election results. If you have an Alexa device that provides images like the Echo Show, you can also see helpful graphs to accompany midterm election answers. Coming up, if you're tired of political posts on Facebook, we'll tell you how to block them. Right now, a quick word from our friends who help make these podcasts possible. So do you remember the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition that was released a couple of years ago? It's a miniaturized version of the original Nintendo system that was released in the mid-'80s and came preloaded with 30 classic video games. The great thing about it is the price. It sold for under $60 and retailers couldn't keep them on the shelves. People snatched them up faster than Nintendo could have ever imagined. Well, now it's PlayStation fans' turn. The new PlayStation Classic will be released on December 3rd, and the idea is similar to the NES Classic. It's a mini version of the original PlayStation system, preloaded with a handful of games. The company just announced the 20 games that it will be preloaded with, and nostalgia buffs are going to be excited. Headlining the list of games is Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, and Resident Evil Director's Cut. Those are some big-name games that people of the 90s are sure to love. The system will sell for just under $100, and we'll see if they're as popular as the Nintendo. Has your Facebook news feed been bombarded with political posts lately? That would make sense since we're coming up to the end of an election season. Everyone seems to have a political opinion these days, and many of them you'll want to know about. But it can be really overwhelming at times, especially just want to chillax and see what your friends are up to on Facebook. Well, don't stress about it. There's a new way for you to take control and block those political posts from showing up on your news feed. The easiest way is to add an extension on your Chrome web browser. It's appropriately titled Remove All Political from Facebook. The extension allows you to filter out political posts whenever you're tired of seeing them, but you can turn off the filter whenever you want. That puts you in control of your political post consumption. The only bad thing is the extension doesn't block memes, so a few political ones may slip through the cracks every once in a while. By the way, once you're done listening to our podcast, do us a favor and give us a great rating on wherever you're listening to us to. We appreciate that. It helps more people find the podcast. Finally, for today's Commando Kicker, what would you do if you were waiting tables and got a $10,000 tip? Well, what if the customer who gave it to you only ordered 2 waters? That actually happened recently to a waitress in North Carolina. She suddenly found herself flush with cash after serving a customer who only asked for 2 glasses of water. The mysterious tipper was actually a YouTube star who goes by the name Mr. Beast, otherwise known as Jimmy Donaldson. He has earned nearly 9 million subscribers through videos featuring extreme acts of generosity, including another $10,000 tip to a pizza delivery driver and $30,000 to random Twitch streamers. The waitress split the tip between herself and her co-workers, only taking home about $800, another great act of kindness. For more fun and interesting facts, go to Komando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. And if you're looking for some interesting listening this weekend, we've got a new Commando On Demand podcast. It's all about all the cameras and hidden cameras, spy cameras, that are watching us, and we go through some examples of some places where people have set up cameras and what happened. This is so you will know if you go to a hotel room or stay at an Airbnb sometime, what to look out for if somebody could be spying on you. That's again on Commando On Demand. It's on podnet.com or on your favorite podcast player by searching KOMANDO. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.